We're going back to the 90s with some extreme revenge. I'm Party Demon. Whoa. Welcome, friends, to Nuclear Revenge, a rather requested subreddit. I've seen it being covered by everybody and their mother, but I figured I'd give a little bit of a ReddX spin on it, so let's get into it. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Mine has been cooling for 10 years and counting. I, 40 female, have been married to my husband, 44 male, for 20 years now. We have 2 kids, 16 female and 13 male. My husband is what I would consider a high earner by middle class standards. Also, strap in, folks, because this is going to be long. I've never told anyone this, so TLDR, my husband cheated on me. I dragged the guilting for almost a decade and then ruined his life and chased him out of town. I don't know that you needed to wait 10 years to do that. Maybe you were staying together for the kids or something. I guess we'll read on and I can flesh out my opinion a bit further. 10 years ago, and by complete coincidence, I found out that my husband had been cheating on me with men, and that this was happening even before we ended up getting married. Well, I kind of see where this is going. We live in a small-ish town in the south of the USA, so him coming out as gay will have consequences. I believe that that is the only reason that he hasn't come out to anyone. Including you, I'm going to presume. Did you out him? That's not very nice. But I do see how it could turn nuclear. So first, here's how I found out he was cheating on me. He got sloppy, left a credit card bill for a secret card in the pocket of a coat. While going through it, I found all the telltale signs of infidelity: payments to a hotel in a nearby county, restaurant bills, gifts, flowers, lubricant. Ooh. I started camping outside the hotel on days that he told me he would be late, and I saw him bringing a variety of different men there. God, not just one person. Maybe he does deserve to be burned to the ground. I'm suddenly very conflicted. I'm very good at compartmentalization, and I have a great poker face. It comes with growing up in a household where I was maltreated, so I was able to give myself the time to cool off and come up with what I should do next. First thing I did, got an STD panel, since I didn't know how safe he was with these partners, and thankfully it came out negative. Then I convinced him that we should use rubbers, since I was having side effects from the pill, and he was okay with that. We are going to really great lengths to just not address the issue at all. A frank and honest conversation would hurt everybody in this situation a whole lot less, but I guess hindsight's 20/20. I had a long think, and I came up with the decision that I was not going to confront him, nor was I going to leave him. Yeah, but you're probably still gonna hold a grudge. You know what Buddha said about holding a grudge? It's like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. So pray tell, why did you choose to stay, despite all this, OP? Well, he was able to provide me with a really good lifestyle, one that I would never be able to afford with my high school diploma. A cleaning lady, a nanny to help with the kids, regular spa days at a country club, a new car every other year, luxury family vacations every year. He was a good dad, a good partner, all the cheating aside, and he was also really good in bed. You know what all this sounds like to me? Pure, concentrated copium, but it ain't my life to live. I wasn't gonna let him have a single guilt-free week in his life. That would be my revenge. Ain't that just like women, bro? Sounds just like my wife. I didn't even do nothing. I still feel guilty. So I started small, planning great date nights for us, telling him that I felt our relationship had cooled and I wanted the spark back. Then I would sometimes slip into conversation some tea about a cheating husband, gasp, gay man that had been using his poor wife as a beard, complimenting the only gay couple we know for having the courage of being real men who were out and proud of themselves. On the other hand, I would also praise him as a perfect husband to anyone and everyone, especially if he was in earshot. The amount of guilt gifts I got was astounding. The man was even sending me flowers weekly. Is this a game to you, OP? Like, you're continuing this for 10 years?
Congratulations, you played yourself.
It continued on the same way for years. I could literally see how much it was weighing on him. Me? Well, my parents were part of a commune with the concept of free love, and I was the same. I just decided that I was now in an open marriage. It seems that cheating is easier to ignore if you're not that big on the monogamy part in the first place, and my husband was keeping me satisfied, so I felt no need to find a partner of my own. Then, 4 years ago, I guess he met the love of his life. He started seeing just that one guy. I was seriously thinking of ending the whole thing, especially since I started a business by then and was able to bring in enough money to support myself and the kids while maintaining my lifestyle, but then he went and introduced his side piece to us. He freaking brought him into our house, introduced him to our kids, and that was enough for me to decide to continue tormenting him. Yeah, and yourself. Apparently, this was a new friend that he made while golfing. I mean, he is going out there to knock some balls into the hole. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, hi-oh! He started hinting at moving to another state, one where it would be easier for him to come out. I refused. I told him that my business was here, and I was not going to start over in another state. Also, the kids had their friends and extended family here, and it would be unfair to uproot them. This is also gross, man. You play these games with the person that contractually you're obligated to, supposed to be the love of your life, but you can't even sit down and have a frank and honest conversation. Hey, I found this stuff out. Let's work it out, instead of burying it for a decade and needling him at every turn about something that he probably didn't choose, okay? Everybody in this situation is fairly irredeemable. I only truly feel bad for the kids at this point. Anyways, then husband started trying to start arguments. I guess he wanted us to fight, then for me to ask for a divorce. I just stopped all those arguments in their track. I would just agree with whatever he said. He was right, I was wrong, and to make it up to him, how about a nice dinner and some great boom boom? He hated that. I knew from spying on his phone that banging me felt like cheating on his boyfriend. The audacity of this man. I also knew that his boyfriend was pressuring him to leave me almost every single day. Jesus, dude, be a man. Leave your wife. Be a woman. Leave your husband. If you ain't happy, it's time to move on. It's pretty simple. It would take one very difficult conversation, but yeah, for some reason, everybody'd rather dance around it for 10 years. I'm amazed. So yeah, now this dude was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Giggity. He started drinking, and when it got too heavy, that was when I decided that enough was enough. I wanted to ruin his life, not his health. Also, I grew up with an alcoholic dad, and I don't want that for my kids. Bro, Pandora's box is open. I don't know what to tell you. I gathered all the evidence of his infidelity over the last 9 years, photos with different men, conversations, his Grindr profile, even though he no longer had one. Yeah, everything. Then I hired a divorce attorney and mailed the evidence to his employer. He has a morality clause in his contract, and adultery breaks it. All of his relatives, including his parents, as well as our church. His, actually. I was never big on religion like he was. Jesus, dude. Is it nuclear? Yes, but you ain't coming out of this smelling like roses. You blew up his entire spot because of this resentment that you were holding on to. This is just ridiculous. Do you feel at all bad about all this? It was like a bomb exploded, of course. He was fired. The congregation turned on him for cheating, not for being gay. Let's keep that straight. I would never allow my kids to be part of a church that discriminated against their father, even if he was out. His parents wouldn't take him in after I kicked him out, and he was shamed publicly. Gotta love that small town gossip mill. God, dude, this is a heavy one. You're the one that started the gossip mill. I almost feel like slightly bad for the guy. He hasn't completely come to terms with this, and you're like, guess what? You're out now, buddy. Maybe it's the push that he needed or something, but it don't feel too great. And the cherry on top of all this, the crap Sunday that is that his boyfriend was run out of town. And he couldn't follow him because he wanted to fight for custody of our kids. Now, almost a year later, I'm a free woman. I got to keep the house and my car and my business. He got 75% of the retirement and investments account, but he won't be paying alimony. I got full custody, he got visitation, I also got child support. Well, GOP, sounds like everything turned out peachy for you, but I promise you you're gonna reap what you sow somewhere down the road. This was not the way to go about this situation at all. He had to move 6 hours away to find a new job, couldn't put the last job he worked at his whole life as a reference. His relationship with his family is rocky, his reputation in town is ruined, so he can't move back anytime soon. The love of his life left him for good, and my kids only tolerate him because I did my best to shield them and to tell them that he's still a good father to them. Oh, how gracious of you. I also made sure to treat him politely, never talked bad about him, and had a lengthy talk about how their father, being gay, is fine. It's who he is, it's not his fault. The only wrong thing he did was hiding it from me. Ew, dude. Just ew. I really hope you feel terrible about it, at least on some level, but if you felt that bad, then you wouldn't go crowing about it on Reddit, now would ya? This OP is gross, bro. It just kept him on the back burner until she could stand on her own 2 feet, and then she's like, now I'm gonna burn him to the ground when it's convenient for me. Why don't you be an adult and have a conversation? Is that really so difficult? I guess it is. So, I guess the result of his cheating was years of guilt followed by a ruined life. Yeah, for both of you. You don't see that? There's also an edit here. Let's make something clear. I'm not the good person in this story. Well, at least you realize that. We were both bad. I'm not here trying to get pats on the back or to be told that I did well. I know what I did was messed up. I'm here because I wanted to tell someone, and I can't do that IRL. Likely because you're rightfully ashamed of your actions. You know, your kids would have been 3 and 6 and had a time to rebuild a life without daddy if you had addressed the issue as soon as it arose, but no, you waited until they're 16 to rip their father out of their life. You could have talked your way through it, you could have come to an understanding, but you did everything in your power to make that not happen, and it's just ridiculous. At least you realize your fault in the story, but I'd say your sins here were way more egregious than his were. And I don't condone cheating at all, but what I do condone is a healthy relationship where you can both talk to each other and not just a decade of the sunk cost fallacy, hanging on to something that you know is irredeemable, but because he provides you a good life, you're just gonna stick it out. It's gross. I'm glad you're not here for pat on the back because you ain't gonna get it from me. Let's check out the comments. Twisted or Rope says, the fact that you admitted that you weren't the best person in handling this story makes it infinitely sweeter. Too many people try to justify that they are a saint despite doing some heinous things. I truly hope the best for your kids, and I give you so many props for doing your absolute best to keep them shielded from what happened. Doing the best for your kids is certainly a saintly thing to do, even when the other things are definitely more devilish. Yeah, I suppose that's a few points in OP's favor, but what difference does it really make when he doesn't have a job and his parents won't talk to him, you know? At least I still get to see those kids on the weekend and they tolerate me. I don't know, bro. The scales definitely aren't even, in my opinion. God Vulcan says, wow, so many people are misunderstanding the name of this sub. This is r/NuclearRevenge, not r/NuclearRedemption. In most cases, the OP would be the a-hole. It's just kind of the way that revenge is. And I'll grant you that, however, saying this is just for revenge doesn't give you carte blanche to do whatever you please. You need to be balanced in all things, and really this whole situation could have been avoided. A decade of pain could have been avoided. I really do wish either one of them would have just sat down and had a talk about it. But apparently that's not the way we do things anymore. Another comment says, you were smart for yourself and your kids. All he had to do was not bring his cheating into your home, which is like the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, he effed around, and he definitely found out. I don't know. There's a few ways you could spin that one. Like that was his first step into admitting who he really was to his family and the people who supposedly wouldn't judge him for it. But then on the other hand, yeah, he might have just gotten too comfortable. Thought he was way too slick, just too cool for school. And yeah, he definitely did find out. But it still hurts me the way that it all went down. Lumos Lomas says, I get that he was terrified of coming out, and I feel for him in that regard, but it's the sleeping around and then still banging with you that gets to me. Then he tries to make you move to another state where you'd have no support system, no income, just to make his life easier. No, yeah, screw him. He consistently showed that he put his needs above yours and your kids. Whoa, that comment hit me like a ton of bricks, honestly. He might have been getting her into a very bad situation. Maybe it wasn't just so he could come out. Maybe it was so he could corner his wife and leave her without any support system to run to. That flips the script quite a bit for me. Truth is, we can't know what was in anybody's hearts. I'm judging the entire thing from a first reading of a Reddit post, so take it with a big old grain of salt, you know? Overall, I still think the only people I feel really bad for in this story are the kids, and I hope that they're doing all right. OP seems to be able to admit that she did wrong, which is great, but I still hope that you'll have a good hard look at this situation and how it could have been handled better, i.e. with a very frank and open conversation. Episode still a little bit wimpy, on the wimpy side, and we need it to be hefty, so we're gonna do another short one. Shove it in here, why not? And I hope that you guys will enjoy, so let's get over there right now. By the way, if you've listened this far, you probably are enjoying the content, so why not subscribe? I'd appreciate it. So this dude pays me in counterfeit currency and immediately gets arrested. Yeah, there's some r/instant karma right there. Shared this in the comments of another post and was recommended to share it here. Years ago, roughly 2010, when I was doing pizza delivery, I delivered on campus. Pretty standard procedure. Call the customer, wait in the parking lot. Buddy comes down, hands me money, takes the pizza, and walks away. Then he starts to run away. Very inconspicuous. I look in my hand and one of the $10 bills is ripped in half and the 20 is clearly horribly counterfeit. Dude's already back in his dorm and it's pass activated so I can't even get in. Then I remembered that I had his number in my phone from when I had called him. So I called the store and I tell them what happened and they mark his number as a prank caller, so no more deliveries for that guy. They figured, that's good enough, I guess. Then, as I was leaving, I see campus security talking to a police member. There was a check stop just before the entrance to the ground, so I stop and walk up and give them the rundown of what happened, hand over the counterfeit bill and the ripped bill to the officer, while the campus security dude is looking up the phone number in the student directory. Whoopsie. Can't get away with nothing in current year, let me tell you that. Campus security finds out who it is, and off they go. 10 minutes later, Buddy Boy's in the back of a police car with his dorm mate for theft under $1,000 because technically he didn't pay for the pizza, possession of counterfeit currency, he had more in his dorm, possessions of narcotics, possession of a controlled substance, Addies and Xannies I think, possession with intent to sell, possession of stolen property, there was another charge but I can't remember. I'm gonna tell you right now, all those charges ain't gonna stick, but really, they only need to nail him down on one, and then twist his arm into a plea deal, which is exactly what they're gonna do. Why not just pay for the pizza, dude? This one simple scheme has caused the whole thing to crash down around you. And this time I could say OP is not at fault at all. This was just desserts. Probably like a lava cake from Domino's or something. Oh, that's so delicious. I guess he posted bail a couple of days later and came down to the pizza shop to have some words with me, but I wasn't working that night. So Buddy started trashing the lobby and got arrested again for trespassing and criminal mischief and vandalism. And then they found a knife on him when they searched him. Oh, Jesus. So there was a weapons charge too, but I think that got dropped. I'm not sure what happened after the second arrest, as I was never called to testify in court, but I'm gonna assume that he took a plea deal, most likely. He almost definitely also got expelled from that university as well. Bro, how to ruin your life in like 2 easy steps. I'm super glad OP wasn't working that night, because that could have turned into a very dangerous situation very quickly. Absolutely not the type of person that anyone would want to associate with. Unfortunately, yeah, you're a pizza guy. Sometimes you do run into the lowest of the low. And dude is ready to walk into your work and poke you because these are the consequences of his own action. He probably does blame OP for reporting him, rather than having a good long look in the mirror and being like, you know, what I did is pretty messed up. I need to make some major changes. He learned nothing. I'm still of the opinion that he will learn nothing. Even if he goes to prison, like, the only thing that happens in prison is they turn you into a better criminal, right? So I don't know. I don't have much hope for this dude, but at least OP was able to remove himself from the situation. Down in the comments, Tim the Ringety Ding says, I swear criminals are like hella dumb. Yeah, basically, that's why they're criminals. If you are doing something illegal, do one thing, not 50 others at the same time. That's like illegal life pro tips right there. Go ahead, do the illegal thing, but just that. I'm gonna keep that in mind next time I break the law. I'm not gonna break the law anymore. I learned a lesson, okay? How they slinging Addy on campus and don't have $30 for pizza? That's my main question. Why did you not just pay for the pizza? OP replies and says, why pay with legit money when you can pay with counterfeit and keep your real money? Not too sure what their thought process was though, in all honesty, but obviously they ain't the brightest. Not the smartest indeed. You basically just shouldn't poop where you eat, you know? A pizza delivered to the place that you live, giving them your phone number that you know is on file with the campus. Dude could have avoided this whole thing if he had thought about it for more than 30 seconds, but if he was that good of a criminal, then I guess he would have the $30 like actual dollars to pay for the pizza, right? This whole thing pains me. I gotta be completely honest. Square Ad says there are 2 rules to being a successful criminal. The first, 1 crime at a time, which we've covered. The second, you can be an a-hole or a criminal. Never be both. And the dude broke both of these cardinal rules. Yeah, people generally remember an a-hole. They generally want to strike back at them. And they don't even have to try very hard. Just like, yeah, go look through his room and he'll burn himself down. He was probably making bank slinging pills, paying for his college and everything, but he just couldn't leave well enough alone for whatever reason. A14 Umbra says, this isn't revenge, it's justice. Crime, report, arrest. I can't believe that dude thought he'd get away with passing obvious counterfeit money. I worked in a gas station for a little bit and people would come up and argue with me about it. It's not counterfeit. I'm like, dude, I just marked it with the pen. I trust the pen more than I trust your words, okay? I'm keeping this bill. If you got a problem, call the cops down. And I'm sure you guys can talk about it. They never call the cops down. They know. They just hope they can bluff their way through it, I suppose. B before 20, probably last comment, says they found a knife on him as well as when they searched him, so there was a weapons charge, but I think that got dropped. What the hell? That shouldn't have been dropped. I guarantee, if you were there, the words that he'd have had with you would have involved that frickin' knife. Imagine how entitled people are. He rips you off, and then he's mad at you for going to the cops about it. For frick's sake. Neo Alpha replies and says he rips you off and then's mad at you. Yeah, people who commit crimes don't have a concept of fair play or graceful loss. If they did, then they'd play by the rules. I mean, this is one case of F around and find out that I truly do love to see. First story made me feel real low, but this one brought me back around. I'm glad that guy got what was coming to him. I'm glad the pizza guy just didn't let it slip like the pizza shop did, because he'd only go on to victimize somebody else. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode, friends. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate those things, especially on this episode, because it's a packed subreddit. I know it's going to be hard to get out there, but I hope I gave things enough of a different spin for it to stand apart from the crowd. Please follow me on the social medias, links to those in the description. Down there as well is my wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous Patreon patrons and channel members. They helping me out every single month. Thank you guys so very much for doing what you do so I can continue doing what I do. I love y'all. I hope you'll come back tomorrow. Keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands. But most importantly, friends, always remember that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.